your English podcast.
Hello and welcome back, everyone, to your English podcast. It feels great to be here.
It's wonderful to have you all listening in with us again.
So, I want to jump right in today with a big question, a huge one, really.
Okay, let's hear it.
If you had to pick one thing, just one, what do you think is the single most important key to success in learning a language? I mean, is it talent? Some people say you have to have a good ear. Or maybe it's a great memory.
Those are the usual suspects, aren't they?
Talent.
Memory, having the right teacher, the best app.
Exactly. But I have a feeling the real answer is something a little less glamorous.
It's much less glamorous. In my experience, it's none of those things.
Yeah.
The real key, the one thing that separates people who succeed from those who don't, is self-discipline.
Self-discipline.
It's that ability to just keep going, to show up and do the work, especially on the days you really, really don't feel like it.
Right. And that's what we're doing a deep dive into today. But not in the way people usually think about it. We're not just going to tell you to work harder.
No, absolutely not. That's terrible advice.
Today is all about the smart psychological hacks. We're going to talk about how to overcome that voice in your head that says, I'll start tomorrow.
That's the big one.
We'll get into building habits that are actually attractive, that you want to do, and even how to design your environment so that learning English becomes, well, almost inevitable.
I love that. Making it inevitable, taking willpower almost completely out of the equation.
Right. So let's start with the enemy, the big boss at the end of the level. That I'll start tomorrow syndrome.
The procrastination doom loop.
Yes. I have to admit, I am a chronic sufferer. I'll have the best intentions. I'll block out time in my calendar, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. study. And then 6 p.m. rolls around, had a long day, I'm tired, and my brain just goes, you know what? You deserve a break. You'll be much more focused tomorrow morning.
And is tomorrow you ever more focused?
Never. Tomorrow, me is just as tired and has the exact same thought process. It's this, perfect trap.
It is a trap, and I've been there so many times. It's this little negotiation you have with yourself, and you always let yourself off the hook.
You do.
You convince yourself that pushing it off is the responsible thing to do. I'll do a better job tomorrow. But tomorrow just becomes this mythical land where all your motivation and energy lives.
A land you never actually visit.
You never get a visa for Tomorrowland. And that mindset, that one little decision, repeated over and over, that's what kills progress. It's the ultimate enemy of consistency.
So I want to ask you, listening right now, have you ever done this? Pushed a study session to the next day and then the next. I'm willing to bet almost everyone has.
Oh, for sure. And the important thing to realize is that this isn't a personal failing. You're not lazy or unmotivated.
Yeah.
This is a universal human thing. It's a glitch in how our brains are wired.
A glitch. Okay, I like that. It feels less like a moral failure then.
It's not a moral failure at all.
Hmm.
But the good news is, once you understand the glitch, you can start to work around it. And we have the solutions.
Okay, so let's get into those solutions. If the big problem is starting, where do we start?
We start small. In fact, we start so small it feels almost ridiculous. This is all about the power of micro habits.
Micro habits.
Yes. I think one of the biggest mistakes people make, and I see this all the time, is that they try to do way too much, way too soon.
The New Year's resolution effect.
Exactly. They say, that's it. Starting Monday, I'm going to study English for 2 hours every single day.
And that lasts for, 3 days?
If they're lucky.
Yeah.
The problem is the idea of a 2-hour study session is intimidating. It's a huge mountain to climb, especially when you're tired, so you just don't even start.
You look at the mountain and decide to stay in the tent.
You stay in the tent. The solution is to stop thinking about the mountain. Just focus on putting on your hiking boots. That's it.
So the goal isn't study for 2 hours. The goal is...
The goal is open the textbook
Hmm.
or turn on the podcast or review one flashcard. Start with something that takes 5 to 10 minutes, even just 2 minutes.
It's like the advice people give for exercise, isn't it? You don't try to run a marathon on your first day.
It's the exact same principle.
Mm-hmm.
A marathon runner doesn't start with 26 miles. They start by just putting on their running shoes and walking out the door. That's the real victory.
Right. And a short walk every day is infinitely better for your long-term health than one massive, painful workout once a month that makes you never want to go to the gym again.
100%. It's the consistency that rewires your brain, not the intensity. An unbroken chain of small efforts is what builds the foundation of fluency.
Okay, so give us some concrete examples for a language learner. What does a 5-minute micro habit look like?
Okay, easy. It could be reviewing just one word of the day and using it in a sentence. Just one.
That's it.
That's it. Or it could be repeating a single short phrase you learned out loud every morning while you make coffee. Something like, "This is going to be a great day." Super simple. Or listening to the first 60 seconds of an English song and trying to write down what you hear. The key insight here, the thing you have to remember, is that consistency is so much more valuable than intensity.
So the goal isn't to learn 100 words in one day. The goal is to build the habit of showing up.
You've got it. You're building the identity of a person who studies English every day. And once that identity is set, the rest follows.
This actually leads perfectly into something else I wanted to talk about, which is this idea of shifting our focus away from goals entirely.
Oh, this is a big one. The idea of systems over goals.
Right. We're always told to set goals. Smart goals, big, hairy, audacious goals. You know the drill. But maybe goals are part of the problem.
I really think they can be. Let's break it down. A goal is a future outcome you want to achieve. For example, I want to learn 100 new words this week.
Okay, sounds reasonable.
It does, but think about the psychology of it. Until you hit that 100-word mark on Sunday night, what is your status?
Well, I'm failing. I haven't reached it yet.
Exactly. You exist in a constant state of pre-failure. You're always focused on what you haven't done yet. It creates this gap between where you are and where you want to be, and that gap can be really stressful.
And demoralizing, especially if you have a busy day and you only learn 10 words instead of 15. Now you're behind schedule.
Right. The pressure builds. You feel like you're constantly playing catch up. And what does that lead to? Burnout. You just give up because the goal feels too far away.
Okay, so that's the problem with goals. What's the alternative? What is a system?
A system is not about the future result. It's about the present process. A system isn't learn 100 words. A system is I will sit down with my flashcards for 10 minutes every day at 8 a.m. while I drink my coffee.
So the focus is on the action, not the outcome.
Precisely. The system is the process you commit to.
Hmm.
The beauty of it is if you sit down at 8 a.m. for your 10 minutes, have you succeeded for the day?
Yes. Instantly.
Instantly. You get a little dopamine hit of success. You feel good about yourself. You're a winner for the day. And it's only 8:10 a.m. Doesn't matter if you learned 5 words or 15. You executed the system.
I really like that. I had a system like this for a while. I decided that during my 20-minute commute, I would listen to a podcast in the language I was learning. That was it.
And how did that work for you?
It was amazing because there was no pressure. I didn't have to understand everything. I just had to press play. And some days I was tired and I zoned out, and other days I was really focused. But it didn't matter. I did the system every single day.
And I bet over a few months, your listening comprehension improved dramatically.
It really did. Without me even actively trying to improve it, the system just did the work for me.
That's why systems are so powerful. They remove the pressure of the result and make you fall in love with the process. The system becomes automatic. It's just what I do.
So, some other examples of systems for our listeners could be what? Listening to that podcast during your commute like I did.
Perfect. Or keeping a small notebook where you write down one new sentence you encounter each day. No more, no less.
What about watching 5 minutes of a YouTube video in English before you watch your own stuff?
Another great one. The system automates the progress. If you just focus on executing the system, the goal, fluency, passing a test, whatever it is, takes care of itself. It becomes an inevitable byproduct of your daily actions.
I want to just pause here for a second and speak to you listening. We're covering a lot of different strategies today, from micro habits to systems.
We're really getting into the weeds of learning psychology.
We are. And if you're finding these tips helpful for your own learning journey, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel.
It really helps us out, and it means you won't miss any of our future deep dives.
All right. So we have our micro habit. We've built it into a system. Yeah. But there's another hurdle, and it's a big one.
Let me guess. Boredom.
Boredom. What happens when the system, even if it's small, is just boring? Discipline becomes almost impossible.
It's true. If your brain associates your language learning with boredom and frustration, it will invent 1,000 other urgent things for you to do instead.
Oh, I really need to organize my sock drawer right now.
Exactly. The secret here is to choose content you actually like. This is the fun factor. You have to make the habit attractive.
This sounds too good to be true. Are you saying that learning should be fun?
I'm saying it has to be fun if you want it to be sustainable.
Yeah.
We have this idea, probably from school, that effective learning has to feel like hard, boring work.
Like eating your vegetables. It's good for you, but you don't enjoy it.
Right. But that's just not how our brains are wired. We learn best when we are engaged, curious, and enjoying ourselves. So the solution is to find English content that you would consume for fun anyway.
So if I love video games, I should be watching streamers play games in English on Twitch.
Yes. 100 times, yes. That counts as learning. This is powerful, compelling input. If you love to cook, watch Gordon Ramsay videos on YouTube.
Or if you're into fashion, follow fashion influencers on Instagram and read their captions.
Precisely. If it's entertainment for you, your brain doesn't put up a fight. It lowers its defenses, and the language it seeps in. It's learning by stealth.
I love that. And this connects back to what we were saying about exercise, too. If you hate running on a treadmill, you will never stick with it.
Never.
But if you find a sport you love, like dancing or rock climbing or whatever, you don't need discipline to do it. You can't wait to go.
Because the activity itself is the reward.
Right.
And you can engineer that for language learning. Another way to do this is to add a little reward system.
Ooh, like giving yourself a treat.
Yes, but with a specific rule.
Mm-hmm.
For example, you only get to have your favorite chocolate bar after you finish your 10-minute lesson, not before.
So you're creating this positive association. My brain starts to think, ooh, English time means chocolate is coming soon.
You got it. It's called temptation bundling. You bundle something you want to do with something you need to do. I I would only let myself watch the next episode of my favorite show on Netflix after I had reviewed my flashcards for 15 minutes.
That's brilliant. So you're using the show as leverage against your own procrastination.
Exactly. It creates a positive feedback loop. Soon, your brain starts to crave the study session because it knows a reward is coming. Discipline becomes so much easier when the activity is actually enjoyable or leads directly to something enjoyable.
It's hacking your own dopamine system.
That's all discipline is, really. Smart dopamine management.
Okay, so we've made it fun, we've made it a system. But what about the physical space where we learn? I know for me, if my desk is a total mess or the TV is on in the background, forget it. Nothing's getting done.
You're setting yourself up to fail. This brings us to the next layer, designing your environment.
The idea that your physical surroundings can make or break your habits.
Absolutely. Think about it. Willpower is a limited resource. If you have to fight against distractions in your environment, you're draining your willpower battery before you even start studying.
So what's the first step?
Create a dedicated study space. It doesn't have to be a whole room. It can just be one chair, your English corner.
And when you're in that chair, you only do English. No scrolling on your phone, no checking email.
Exactly. You're creating a powerful psychological trigger. Over time, just sitting in that chair will automatically put your brain into English mode. It primes you to focus.
It's about reducing friction, right? Making it easy to do the right thing and hard to do the wrong thing.
Perfectly said. You want to set the stage for success. That means having good lighting. It means your books and notebooks are already on the table, open to the right page.
Your headphones are right there, ready to go.
Right. And most importantly, your phone is somewhere else, in another room, on silent. The phone is the single greatest enemy of deep focus. You have to make the distraction invisible.
Out of sight, out of mind.
It really works. And you can also use visual cues to help you. If you're trying to learn new vocabulary, write the words on sticky notes and put them on the actual objects. Put a note that says mirror on your mirror. Put one that says refrigerator on your fridge.
So you're turning your whole house into a learning environment. The cues are constantly reminding you.
You're making your environment do the work for you. And this extends to your social environment, too.
What do you mean by that?
If you're trying to learn, surround yourself with people who support that. Join an online community. Find a conversation club. When you see other people working hard, it's motivating. Their discipline becomes contagious.
You become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So make one of them an English learner.
Or a native speaker.
Yeah.
It's all part of designing an ecosystem that pushes you toward your goal instead of pulling you away from it.
I feel like there's one more resource we haven't really talked about, and it might be the most important one. It's not time. It's energy.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Managing your energy, not just your time. This is critical.
So many people, myself included, we leave language learning for the very end of the day. It's like, okay, I've done my job, I've cooked dinner, I've cleaned up, now I'll study.
And by that point, your brain is just, it's mush.
Mm.
You have no mental energy left.
None. And you try to read a paragraph and you have to read it 4 times because the words just aren't going in.
This is what I call the fresh mind theory. I've noticed in my own life that my best, most productive work always happens when my energy is highest. For most people, that's in the morning.
So the advice is, do the hard thing first.
Do the hard thing first. If learning English is truly a priority for you, give it your best energy, not your leftover energy.
Even if it's just for 15 minutes, a focused 15 minutes in the morning when your mind is sharp is probably worth more than a tired hour at night.
I would say it's worth much more. You're able to concentrate better, you form memories more effectively, you're working with your biology instead of against it.
This also ties into another concept, which is decision fatigue. Can you unpack that for
Sure.
us?
Decision fatigue is the idea that our ability to make good decisions is a finite resource. It gets depleted throughout the day. Every little choice you make, what to wear, what to eat for breakfast, how to respond to an email, it uses up a little bit of your mental energy.
Like a battery draining.
Exactly. So if you sit down at 8 p.m. to study, and the first thing you have to do is decide what to study.
Should I do grammar or vocabulary? Should I watch a video or read an article?
You're wasting your precious limited energy on planning instead of on learning. By the time you've made a decision, you're already more tired.
And you haven't even started the actual work, so what's the solution?
Automate the decision. Plan your lessons in advance. Take 20 minutes on Sunday to decide exactly what you're going to study each day of the coming week.
So on Tuesday morning, you don't have to think. You just look at your plan and it says read pages 10, 12 of this book.
Exactly. You've removed the decision fatigue. The choice was already made by Sunday you, who had more energy and clarity. You just have to sit down and execute the plan. You save all your mental energy for the actual learning.
That's so smart. You're being a good manager for your future self.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay, I want to check in with you listening again. We're talking about a lot of internal and external factors here. I'm curious which of these you struggle with the most. Is it the boredom, the environment, the energy?
It's probably a different one for everyone.
I'm sure it is. And if you're enjoying this discussion on building better habits and you want to make sure you get our next episode right when it drops, consider subscribing. It's the easiest way to stay in the loop.
We'd love to have you with us for the next one.
So, we've talked a lot about the strategies we can use on our own. But what happens on those days when nothing works? You know, the system is there, it's fun, your desk is clean, you're doing it in the morning, but you just can't.
The internal engine has failed. It happens to everyone. That's when you need to bring in external support. That's where automation and accountability come in.
Let's start with automation. I assume that means using technology to help us.
Yes, basically using technology to outsource your discipline. Your phone can be your biggest distraction, but it can also be your most powerful ally.
How so?
Set recurring alarms and reminders. Don't just trust yourself to remember. Have an alarm go off at 8 a.m. every day that says English time. Make the trigger for the habit impossible to ignore.
I see. So you're not relying on your own brain to initiate the action. You're letting the phone do it for you.
Exactly. And you can take it a step further. If you know you always get distracted by social media, use an app blocker. There are apps that will literally lock you out of Instagram and TikTok for a set period of time.
So you're removing the temptation entirely? You're using tech to enforce your own good intentions?
You're creating a digital environment that supports your goals, just like you create a physical one.
Mm-hmm.
Don't rely on willpower when a simple tool can do the job for you.
Okay, that's automation. What about the other A, accountability? That sounds more human.
It is, and it's incredibly powerful. There's a well-known psychological principle that people simply perform better when they know they're being observed.
We don't want to look bad in front of others.
Nobody does. So if you're studying all by yourself, it's very easy to skip a day. No one will ever know.
Mm-hmm.
The only person you're letting down is yourself, and we're very good at forgiving ourselves.
Too good sometimes.
But if you have an accountability partner, everything changes.
So this is someone who is checking up on you.
It could be. It's simply someone you report your progress to. The easiest way is to find a language friend, someone else who is also learning.
And you just check in with each other every day.
Yep, a simple text message. Hey, did you do your 10 minutes today? Yep, I did. How about you? That's it.
Oh,
But knowing that message is coming is often the little push you need.
because the pain of having to admit you didn't do it is greater than the pain of actually doing it.
You've hit on the core principle. You're using social pressure for a positive purpose. It is so much harder to skip a lesson when you know someone else is waiting for you or is going to ask you about it.
This also makes me think about tracking your own success, making yourself accountable to the data.
Yes, the success journal. This is so important. Language learning progress is often slow and invisible day to day.
Yeah.
You don't feel more fluent today than you did yesterday.
It's easy to feel like you're stuck, like you're not making any progress at all.
Right. And that feeling is a motivation killer.
Yeah.
But if you keep a simple journal where you write down your small wins every day,
Like, learned 5 new words today, or I understood a joke in a movie.
exactly. When you look back after a month, you have a written record of your progress. You have concrete evidence that your system is working. It makes the invisible visible, and that keeps your motivation high.
You're creating your own proof. That's powerful. All of this really is about building one thing, isn't it? It's about building momentum.
Momentum is everything. It's the final piece of the puzzle.
I keep thinking of that analogy of pushing a car that's run out of gas. The first few pushes are just brutal. It feels impossible.
The static friction is immense. You're putting in a huge amount of effort, and it's barely moving. That's what the first week of a new habit feels like.
But once you get it rolling, even just a little
It
bit,
gets easier. The kinetic friction is much lower. It takes far less effort to keep a moving object moving than it does to start it from a dead stop. Habits work the exact same way.
which is why the most important rule is to never miss twice.
The golden rule. Missing one day is fine. Life happens, you get sick, you have an emergency. That's a slip. But if you miss 2 days in a row, you've broken the chain. You've stopped the car.
And you have to go through that painful process of overcoming the static friction all over again.
And very often, people just don't. That's where habits die. So on your absolute worst days, the days you are exhausted, overwhelmed, and feeling down, that's the critical moment.
That's when discipline is truly tested.
It is. And on those days, you don't aim for your usual routine. You fall back on your micro habit. You aim for the absolute bare minimum. Just do 2 minutes.
Read one sentence. Listen to 30 seconds of a song.
Whatever it takes to not put a 0 on the calendar. You're not trying to make progress on that day. You're just trying to protect your momentum. You're keeping the engine warm.
It's the non-zero day idea. As long as you did something, however small, you didn't break the chain, you're still in the game.
You're still a person who studies English every day. You protected the habit. And that's the real victory on those tough days.
Wow. We have gone through a lot. This has been a really, really deep dive. We've gone from, the psychology of procrastination all the way to the physics of momentum.
We've covered a lot of ground.
I want to try and consolidate this a bit. If you had to boil all of this down, what's the ultimate goal here? What does all this lead to?
I think it all leads to a shift in your identity. All these tools we've discussed, the micro habits, the systems, the fun factor, the accountability, they're all just mechanisms for one purpose.
And what's that?
To change your internal story from I'm a person who is trying to learn English to I am an English learner.
That's a very subtle shift in wording, but it feels profound.
It's a huge difference.
Yeah.
Trying implies struggle and the possibility of failure. I am is a statement of fact. It's part of who you are.
You don't need discipline to do the things that are part of your identity.
Think about it. Do you need discipline to brush your teeth in the morning?
No, of course not. I just do it.
You just do it. Because you are a person who has good hygiene. It's not a decision. It's just a part of your routine. It's who you are.
So the ultimate goal of all this discipline is to eventually make the discipline unnecessary.
That's the beautiful paradox of it. You use these tools and strategies to build the habit until it's so deeply ingrained that it becomes automatic. You want to get to the point where your daily English practice is like your morning coffee.
You don't have to force yourself to drink it. You just feel weird if you don't.
That's the goal, for it to become a natural, essential part of your day. And that only happens through one thing: repetition. The more you repeat that cycle of cue, action, and reward, the deeper the neural pathway gets carved into your brain.
So to summarize the key takeaways for everyone listening, first, start ridiculously small, 5 minutes.
Then build a system, not just a goal. Focus on the process.
Make that system fun. Connect it to something you already enjoy.
Design your environment for success and manage your energy, not just your time. Do it when you're fresh.
And finally, get a partner. Use automation and accountability to keep you going when your own motivation fails.
That's a pretty good summary of the entire toolkit.
So here's our challenge to you, to everyone listening right now. Please don't let this just be interesting information. Don't just nod along and then go back to the same old patterns.
Don't fall into the trap of passive learning, where you feel productive just by listening.
Exactly. The real change comes from action. So I want you to pick one thing, just one single strategy that we talked about today.
Maybe it's the 2-minute rule. Maybe it's cleaning your desk. Maybe it's texting a friend to be your accountability partner.
Pick one, and I want you to implement it today, not tomorrow.
Because we've learned where that leads.
It leads to never. So open your calendar right now, or grab a piece of paper and decide on the one small change you are going to make starting today.
Start pushing that car, even if it's just an inch. One sentence is infinitely better than 0 sentences.
This has been fantastic. Thank you so much for breaking all this down.
My pleasure. It's such an important topic.
And thank you so much for listening to your English podcast today. We truly hope these tips help you master your own discipline and achieve the fluency you're working so hard for.
It's been great being here. Just remember to trust the process, keep showing up, and be kind to yourself when you have an off day. Just don't miss twice.
And if you found this deep dive useful, please hit that subscribe button. It's the best way to support the show, and make sure you catch our next one. Until then, keep learning.
Stay disciplined and reach your goals. See you next time.